Well, welcome back to Midday. We are talking about the upcoming Alzheimer's Walk. Of course, their annual walk happening in May, on May 5th. Is that right, Tara? May 5th?
Sunday, May 5th.
Excellent. So we do have Tara Hildebrand joining us, a sport and education worker for the Alzheimer's Society, for First Link as well. So thank you for being here, Tara.
Thank you.
And we also have Bill Blair back in our studio. Thanks for being here, Bill.
My pleasure.
And Wendy alongside. Thanks, Wendy, for joining us. We had you here just a little while ago. Of course, Bill and Wendy are the honoree family for the walk this year, so we really appreciate you coming back on the show. Tara, let's talk a little bit, first of all, about the walk itself. It is coming up quickly now, actually.
Yeah, and we're getting to
we're
crunch
almost
time.
there.
All of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, it's a couple weeks away.
Yeah, but what would you say to people that don't really know a lot about the walk? I mean, what is the point behind having a walk like this?
To be honest with you, it's about fundraising, obviously, for programs and services so that we can provide ongoing support, education, and information for families affected by this illness and for those living with this illness as well. But there's more to it than that, too. It's an event that raises awareness, helps decrease stigma, and, you know, it's a really terrific way to honor the memory of or honor somebody currently living with this illness.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bill, I know that we spoke with you a few weeks back about your diagnosis, but you know, just looking at you, you know, you wouldn't think that you have Alzheimer's. And chatting with you the last time you were on the show, absolutely, there would be no indication, at least at that point. So, I mean, is that part of all of this, trying to reduce the stigma, that you don't have to look a certain way or act a certain way?
Yeah, you don't have three eyes.
That is a very good point.
Or any other significant way of determining that you have Alzheimer's. But I like to say, well, I look good on the outside, but I'm rotten in the inside. And rotten is a little extreme, but you know, what I look like outside doesn't necessarily mean what I am inside.
Right.
And I just do the best I can.
Yeah, what were some of the symptoms for you leading up? I know we talked to you a little bit about that, but maybe just remind us a little bit about sort of your journey to diagnosis.
Stumbling is a significant one of the issues for me. I've had it for some time. First, I thought it was something else, so just maybe a stumbler. And maybe I was to begin with, but it still goes on. Right. I stumbled getting into the stage today. So I just have to live with that.
Right.
I forget things.
Yeah.
I can't finish, I start a sentence, knowing what I want to say, and partway through, I cannot remember the words to complete the sentence.
Yeah. Yeah, that's difficult considering you were a former judge. So, I mean, you spoke for a living, essentially, right? Yeah.
And I could say, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't do any good.
And Wendy, just from your perspective, alongside Bill, how have things been for you over the last little while?
Well, as I was saying in the other interview, that really in the everydayness of life, things haven't changed. It's really been in our extracurricular activities that there's been the greatest change, that because of Bill's balance issues and stumbling, the things that we did like hiking and skiing, traveling, have really, we've had to adjust considerably so Bill can't do as long of a hike. He often doesn't feel like going on the hike. He was carried down by the Todd Mountain Ski Patrol. He came down because we thought maybe he could try skiing, because he used to ski well, and we hadn't skied for a while, and he was brought down with a toboggan.
Oh no, she's embarrassing you now.
It's just a fact of life. You've got to accept it.
It's those things that are really impacting us, you know, and you know, it can be frustrating repeating yourself several times, or, you know, remember when, well, we talked about that, no, he doesn't remember. You know, so my role is not to get upset by that, but just respect that he really doesn't remember.
Yeah. Tara, I know that we talked to you a lot over the last several years leading up to each walk, but I think it's important to maybe point out that there is a difference between an illness and just age-related forgetting. I know you and I have talked a lot about that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you know, that's part of the difficulty in those initial stages too, getting that diagnosis. You know, we can say, well, we all forget where we've put our keys, and we blank out on somebody's name once in a while, and you're like, oh no, what's going on?
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is there's a huge difference between age-related memory loss. I mean, as we age, our brains are aging too. There's nothing that we can do about that. But it's you know, when you look at the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's disease, we might look at that and think, I've got 2 or 3 of these. Is this a concern? Well, if I've never been good with names and I continue to not be good with names, that's not necessarily a warning sign. But am I forgetting the names of family members? Am I forgetting the names consistently of people that I should know? You know, it's not just one of those occasional little blips. It's ongoing and continuous. And so it's about having a look at those warning signs and saying, is this a change from my normal patterns and behaviors?
And paying attention to that closely,
Paying attention
right?
to that.
Yeah.
You know, Wendy brings up a really good point about her role versus Bill's role. And it's, you know, we say to families, we're here to go on this journey with you. But at the same time, it's important that caregivers honor their own transitions and the changes that they are also experiencing in their roles with going from, for example, a wife to a caregiver or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's changes for all.
Would you say that Alzheimer's and dementia is becoming more prevalent, or are you seeing those numbers rising? For diagnosis?
For sure there is. We have to remember too that the baby boomers have now turned 65 a number of years ago. And so we're seeing a population influx of that age-related group where after the age of 65, our risk doubles every 5 years. So when you look at those kinds of statistics, of course, we're going to see more prevalence of illness. We're also living longer, so we're going to see more prevalence of illness for sure. But, you know, at the Alzheimer's Society, we are doing an awful lot of work too within First Link, trying to get the word out there and have families and people in our communities connect with us for programs and services to give them the support, information, and education that they need about this illness.
Yeah.
And that increases quality of life for all.
Absolutely. I love, Bill, something I think that stuck with all of us here at the station the last time you were on was the fact that you're not allowing this diagnosis to really slow you down. You still want to go on those vacations. You still want to do as much as you can, right? Is that really important to you to make sure you're doing as best you can to live a normal life?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Very important.
Would you entice others to do the same if they're going through the same thing?
Absolutely, I would. And one other thing, if I may mention.
Yes, please.
You are complaining as a person that may have Alzheimer's, and you talk to your doctor about, gee, I can't remember things. And your doctor says, oh, it's just aging. If you don't accept it, you can always go get a second opinion. And really, we should get a second opinion if you are really concerned.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important to bring up, right?
For sure.
You know, I think you know deep down that something's not right, and really go with your gut on that. Thank you, all 3 of you, for joining us. Of course, the Alzheimer's Walk is Sunday, May 5th at the TCC indoor and outdoor track, and we've got all the information there on the screen as well as the website. Still time to register, right, Tara?
Absolutely.
Great. All right. Thank you again, Bill and Wendy. We appreciate your time. We're back in a moment here on Midday, so stay with us.